Just a moment to make sure it's way finished.
I don't know how well this deck does competitively. I'm tempted to try out a control list with a weird finisher and give that a shot. Because it has some dead cards against you, but not a ton. And I don't know. Well, let me take a look at what else I've got. I've got a lot of decks. What do you want to try it out against first? Because you probably want to like run the whole gambit, see how it does against everything.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, whatever. I don't have very high hopes, so I'm really not being that picky.
Okay. Ooh, I don't think I've made my new additions to this deck. But I do still really like playing it anyway, so. Yeah. I mean, this one's got a bunch of dead cards, but it's probably one of my favorite decks. I need to make some changes to it, though. I've added a bunch of stuff to, like, I have things I really want to add to the deck list and a few things I really want to take out. So I see I've made some of the changes already. That's probably going to go. Yeah, but there's a few cards that I definitely need to get in here that are not in here yet. What else was I planning on taking out? Oh, this. Yeah, so I think I have a straight like 2 or 3 for 2 or 3 swap that I want to do. Why have you not locked in your deck? There it is. Okay. Say something funny and entertaining for like 5 minutes while I pee. Okay.
Alrighty. Damn it, I was put on the spot. I wasn't prepared for this. So, to recap, Chris mentioned I'm playing a non-competitive deck. The deck I am playing is a 5-color Super Friends build. We will see whether or not that is actually somewhat viable in Canadian Highlander. I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be really bad. But everything's worth at least one try. So we're going to give it a shot. I don't actually know what Chris said he was going to go do. I missed it, but well. In other news, I was looking through all my Highlander decks here to see what else I could play, and I realized I have a pretty overwhelming amount of aggressive beatdown decks of some kind or another. I mean, short of like a couple combo decks, really that's about all I build. Chris has some more control type builds. I tend to stay away from control, especially in Highlander, because I guess I feel like in this format, feel like when you lose with control, you're more likely to feel like, shit, there was something I could have done and I misplayed, rather than if you lose with like an aggro or even mid-range deck, you're like, I just got beat. It is what it is. And I like not feeling guilty about my losses. I like being able to just blame it on fate.
Alright. So did I get here fast enough for you to not alienate any viewers? Viewer? Whatever.
Yeah. I was just explaining why I tend not to play Control and Canadian Highlander.
Oh. That's interesting. I mean, that's an interesting topic. That's genuinely, like, what you choose to play in Canadian Highlander is, you know, a pretty cool thing. Because you have a lot of options.
Yeah, well, I was just talking about, I was looking through my list prior to us starting.
Burp. That
and
no land thing is
I'll
happening
keep this
again.
hand.
Got that no land blues. Oh, come on! 2 lands, no castable spells. Absolutely 0. Sure, why not? Sure.
I was basically
Beat my
explaining that
face.
I
Go
think
ahead.
part of the reason that I play I don't tend to play control very often is
Mm-hmm.
because I I think it's because I like being able to blame my losses on fate rather than on the fact that I made a misplay.
Mm-hmm.
Like with control, I often feel that when you lose with a control deck, it's because you can look at it and say, "Oh, at some point in the game there must have been something I could have done to make it so that I won, and I made a misplay somehow."
Right, but a lot of time it's not a misplay.
That's
I
true.
understand the point that when you play control, you feel like your defeats come from misplays, but oftentimes it'll be you made the right call and your opponent pulled a card that you weren't anticipating. And not because you were stupid, but because you couldn't have. Like
Right.
you'll be playing against someone and it'll be like, "All right, I have lethal unless he has say like a lightning helix. Like lightning helix is the only card in his deck that will gain him life. So unless he has that, I'm in the clear and I've got this." And you swing in and he has one of the 2 lightning helix that are in his list.
Right.
And you're like, "Oh, well, I made the correct decision, but shit sucks." It happens. Burr, burr, burr. 3 visits. 1, 2, 3. 3 visits.
Jesus Christ, just die.
I was about to say, you're not reacting to my very funny joke.
Sunken Hollow tapped. Arcane Lab.
Oh dear. Okay, I'm okay with this. That's a good pick though.
Yeah, seemed like it.
Um Marin, pass turn. Yeah, I don't particularly like playing. I don't know. So the decks I play are not so much chosen by the well-known and established archetypes of control or whatever. I mean, granted, I'm a huge fan of. You're plussing him? Yes, you are plussing him.
Give Marin -3, -0.
Yep. So granted, my favorite archetype is mid-range. Probably. I like a lot of interaction, but that's good. The decks I choose to play are more often chosen based instead on. Oh, this makes me sound like an asshole. I like to win in a crushing fashion, and you've probably
Decisive would
yeah
probably be a good way of putting it that doesn't make you sound like a total douche.
yeah I like to win decisively. And this isn't necessarily to make my opponents feel bad. I just enjoy really big plays. Go ahead. So, for example, I run a range of decks from a elf combo deck to a blue-white control deck, but all of them win by just going ham. And it depends, like, it's at different stages of the game. Because the elf deck will, at any given point, starting very early, just be like, boom! Big ass creatures swing in to kill you. Probably an excessive amount of damage. And then the blue-white control deck is like, hey, so we're on turn like 50-something, return a bunch of things from my graveyard. Swing.
So, well, -2 Kaya.
Cool.
So you make you discard a card, I'll draw a card.
So I haven't changed Marin's power because I'm assuming you're going to want to just leave that as is. Or more accurately, you're gonna do the same thing again. I figured if you don't, then I'll change it, but it's the most likely thing. But yeah, so I enjoy big decisive plays, and I'll play whatever deck lets me have those. So there are certain control decks that I'm a huge fan of, and certain control decks that I really, really dislike. I mean, in the last match, I was playing Grixis Control, but it was Grixis Control that wins using, like, one of 3 combos. And that's awesome. Called it.
Well, I had to do the math, and there's literally no reason to target Thragtusk instead, because then you still have 5 power, just like you do now, but then it's spread over 2 creatures instead of just 1, meaning you can hit both of mine for a little bit, or you can kill one or the other.
Yeah.
Or you can have one of them hit me and one of them kill Kaya. Like, it just makes more sense to force me to put it all on one creature.
Yeah.
And let's fetch.
Yep. But I prefer mid-range decks because I like maximizing interaction. I like to feel like I have control of the game, while at the same time putting pressure on my opponent and attacking and doing all the fun things that one does when one is playing Magic.
Farseek.
Yep. I will say I really dislike tempo decks for the most part because they always make me very stressed. Some people probably really, really love tempo, but I always feel like when I'm playing a tempo deck, it's like, if you react to the wrong thing, then you lose. It's not just about, like, taking care of the right things. It's if you react to the wrong thing, you don't have enough spells to then save yourself. You can't turn it around.
Right.
I've lost some games because of very bad play decisions, though, with control decks. When I was playing that blue-white control deck once, I decided to tick up Ratchet Bomb instead of blowing it up because there was a bigger threat, and I wanted to tick Ratchet Bomb up to it, and in response to my tapping the Ratchet Bomb to tick it up, the guy blew it up.
Oof.
That hurt. That hurt, because I could have destroyed something with it instead. Like, it was basically, I either destroy this thing with it, or I tick it up, like, twice, and kill something bigger and more threatening. And I was like, I need to get that thing off the table, I'll tick up the Ratchet Bomb. So that was hurtful. Let's take care of Dovin.
Yep.
Yeah. Because he's the thing that's going to ultimate and win you the game. Let's harmonize. Swamp. Pass the turn. That Arcane Laboratory is going to be out of here. I will renounce it. Oh. And on your turn, she goes back to her regular power toughness.